Today, the world is suffering from COVID-19 and everyone feels alone thanks to social distancing. Everyone is suffering in different ways. Everyone's hurting. So I'd like to let you know of how I got through pain during the time I was mugged and stabbed 3 days before my 20th birthday. It all happened exactly 10 months ago today, on June 14th. I'll give you the context, then I'll give you the lessons. You can fast forward, but I recommend you listen to the context. So, my grandfather was very ill. My mom, my dad, and I were taking turns taking care of him until he got better. That was the plan. So, I would go for the groceries, I would entertain him, I would help him out any way I could. Then it would be my mom's turn, then it would be my dad's turn, and so forth. But one day, my mom, while at work, her car broke down. So I had to go help her out. So I carried a car battery inside my backpack to replace the one that broke down inside her car. So I started walking down the street, pretty happy to help out. Because later that day, I was going to have a waiting gig, and that was going to be a good way to make some money so I could buy some things for me the day of my birthday. So I was excited. And so I'm walking down the street, and I see this motorcycle slowing down. And I think to myself, that can't be a good sign. Something's up. So it starts getting slower, and I start running. And so this motorcycle gets on top of the sidewalk, and this dude just lunges out, and I'm running, but with the backpack, I was easily caught. It weighed me down. This guy has me. He runs up and puts a giant knife up to my stomach and says, "Give me your phone or you die." I didn't even have my phone out. So I'm like, what? And not waiting for him to respond, took out my phone, gave it to him. And as I'm giving him the phone, he plunges a knife anyways inside my stomach. But as a sort of a reflex, I twirl backwards, I lift my knee up, and now I'm facing the assailant. It is life or death. He quickly stabs me again in the knee, but I keep it up, and I'm looking at him, I think. What you gonna do? Is this the end? I don't know. I'm gonna fight for it. I'm not backing down. Thankfully, it was Friday night, and there were cars around, and there was no COVID. So there were cars around, and they start honking and facing the sidewalk. Get out of the way. So thankfully, the motorcycle guy was losing a time advantage, and the situation was escalating and getting out of control. And I was just hanging on to dear life, you know? I was thinking of taking his knife. I was thinking of doing whatever I could to stay alive. But thankfully, the guys in the car spooked him, and he just ran back to the motorcycle, and his buddy was waiting for him to take off. So I think to myself, I made it. Back to the mission. Gotta help my mom out. So I keep on strolling. And just as I'm strolling happily, the people that honked at the assailant parked at a single file line, And they started slowly getting out of the cars, and they were saying, "Hey, how can we help you out? Oh my God, you're hurt." And I'm like, "Oh, I have to go help my mom out with a thing." "But you're hurt. You're hurt. How can we help you out?" And I say, I look down and like my stomach area, it was erupting like a volcano. There was blood everywhere. A white shirt I was wearing was just completely red. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going with you guys. It's canceled. And so the guy was saying, "Hey, so do you have insurance? What hospital do you go to?" And I'm just in a daze. This young female said, "Hey, so what hospital? Where do you go?" And this older woman said, "Oh, I have two kids at home. You just get in the car, son." And I'm okay. Yeah, I'm going with you. Let's go. Let's go. So this wonderful lady helped me to get to a hospital. She took a U-turn, and we were on the way there. And that was a moment when I got to tell my mom or ask her what I should do. But then and there, I remembered that I did not know her phone number. And the phone where I had it just got stolen. So I did the best I could at that moment and remembered that using that lady's phone, then I could go inside and call my mom using Facebook Messenger. So I called my mom. It's ringing. "Mom, I have something very serious to talk about. It's very bad. I was walking and I got mugged and stabbed. I'm bleeding. Where do I go to?" And my mom was shocked. Go to the nearest hospital, Edwin." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's a private hospital. Is that okay?" Yeah, go there. We don't know how much blood you have left." Okay, thanks, Mom." And then I got to a hospital, and it's nothing like the movies. People don't rush out and get you on a gurney or anything like that. I was actually knocking on the door, and somebody unenthusiastically opened the door. But I was fighting the whole way through. So I just waited to somebody to get a wheelchair and get me on one of those hospital beds. And it was a whole ordeal. I got an x-ray for my stomach. It was determined that it was a 0.5 millimeter left, where if that knife plunged 0.5 millimeter deeper into my peritoneal wall, then my organs would have been penetrated as well. So that would have brought a whole other level of complexity to this whole situation. Thankfully, the skin and muscle tissue was in the way. But I was bleeding out. I had 2 wounds. I had one in my stomach and one on my knee. And I was waiting to get stitched up. It took about, if this whole thing started at 8 p.m., I was waiting and bleeding out till 1 a.m. And during this whole time, the only thing I could do was be cool and calm about it, because the assailant is out of the way and I'm not fighting him anymore. So I knew if I got agitated that I would bleed out faster because my heart would be pumping in a faster motion. So I decided to be very zen, to be very cool. And I was doing breathing techniques because I had asthma during my childhood. So I was very calm about this whole thing. Anyways, this whole time I was with my parents, mom, my dad. Later, my uncle came around, and so did my grandma and my aunt. I was happy to see them because I never thought I would actually get to see them again. And when I was discharged, a whole 24 hours later, because they have to check on you to see if you can eat correctly, if you're responding well to the treatment. All this time went by, and I was finally out on the day of my birthday, June 17th. And so when I was laying on the bed that day, I was prescribed to rest, to take the medicine or drugs that they prescribed to me during this time every few hours. But most of all, I was told to not get up, to not walk, to not do any activities that I would usually do. So mostly just lay in bed. All the plans I had for that weekend with my friends, with my family, I wanted this beautiful ice cream cake for my birthday, but all of it was gone. My parents were financially wrecked because they charged more for that hospital visit than what the phone that I had stolen from me was worth. It was at least $1,000 in the hole for this whole incident, and my parents were set back a lot by $1,000, but so was I. We were all hurting, so my parents had to get back to work. My mom is a nurse. My dad got back to working. And so I was laying in bed on the day of my birthday. I was getting plenty of messages, but I was feeling lonely. It dawned on me that up to that moment, I was being taken care of, and I had people backing me up during this whole time. But now, I was finally alone on the day of my birthday. I just looked at the bed around me, and I just thought about how I wasn't able to do anything. If I got up, maybe my stomach would just burst open. Or I can't even get up to my room, which is on the second floor. I can't walk the stairs required because on the abdomen wall is required for you to be able to stand up straight. What if I can't walk correctly after all this? And so I just started getting really dark and really sad about having to be this way on my birthday and losing power over just living a normal life. I couldn't do anything. So this was a moment where I started to break down. I started to cry. I felt more alone than anything in the world. And I thought that maybe this could last forever. Like, what was the point of life? And so by this time I was wailing in tears when I heard a knock on the door. It was an old neighbor who actually didn't live near us anymore, a family friend. I was hoping it was a detectives to talk to me about the stabbing or the mugging. Maybe they found him. Maybe they were just gonna ask me some more questions. So that actually got me happy enough to get up and answer the door. And they're like, "Hello, is this your father?" And I say, "No, it's me. It's Edwin." "Oh, Edwin. Oh, I came to see you. God told me to come speak with you." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, come in, come in." Because I was lonely. I would have let anyone come in. And she walked in and she told me, "I've come here to speak with you. God told me that I have to speak with you." And I say, "Go on." And she was with me around 45 minutes, and they were just the things I had to hear. I would have been sad. I would have been in despair for hours, maybe the entire day or the entire week, if she had not come to see me. But everything she told me was exactly what I needed to hear. In those things that she told me was that if you are alive, that means you have a purpose. And also, from one day to another, you can just have everything stripped from you. So you should appreciate being alive. Those were things that I needed to think about, because I was here thinking about how sorry I am because I have nothing. I can't even move my legs, or I can't stand up. But she's telling me that I should be grateful for being alive. And that's true. I am more grateful. But having her there with me and getting a direct message from God left me feeling like, after she left, that I was not alone anymore. God was with me. And I continued on. A few days later, of me laying on the bed, recovering, I was just sleeping the entire day, because these drugs they give you, they leave you sleeping for hours, and you're pretty much not having an active life or doing anything productive. So I'm just laying down, and my mom comes home from work and she tells me, "Hey, so have you had your medicine?" And I say, no, actually I forgot. It's about 10 p.m. and I was just out the whole day sleeping. So she tells me, "Okay, I'm gonna cook you up some food and so you can take your medicine." And I'm like, "Okay, fantastic." And as soon as I check the backup phone I have, I check and see that I have a YouTube notification that says, as soon as I check my backup phone, it tells me that this podcast I watch on YouTube, they started a live stream. They've never done a live stream ever before in their lives. But at that very moment, I got a notification. It had something like 80,000 subscribers, but I managed to be only one of 30 people that were online to see this random live stream.
What's up, YouTube? Shout out to you guys. We're here in the studio at the Passionate Few office. We are live. This is the first time we actually go live. So, this is the crew here. What's up, everybody? Just want to hop on IG Live and YouTube Live today. Wow, we got 16 of you guys on here.
I look up to them because they interview people who are millionaires, people who are billionaires. And so I watched it. And I got on the live stream and I decided to ask a very special question because I'd been suffering. So I told him, "Hey Omar, how do you get through tough times? I've been passing through some tough times recently. How do you do it?"
How do you get through tough times? I got mugged and stabbed this Friday. Whoa, man, that's crazy. Man, I don't have any advice for that one. That's rough when you get stabbed. What I will tell you, man, is no matter what happens, you're alive. The fact that you could text that comment and send something here, man, that means the world to me that you would trust me with that. So thank you for that. But I want to tell you something, man. No matter what happens, remember this: nothing in life has any meaning except the meaning that we give it. And the same way that my breakup and my tragedies are me being broke and overweight and lost and depressed and broken up with, I chose for that to mean that I'm going to take my life to the next level. That's what it's about. So the fact that you're alive today and you got stabbed and mugged, brother, I want to tell you that you're here for a reason. You're a creator, whether you believe in God or not, the universe, whatever you want to believe, you're here for a reason. You're here for a purpose. So when you say, what's the best advice I have, man, the best advice I have is to look in the mirror and be grateful. Grateful as hell at the fact that you have today and that you can do something epic in the world, man. So take that. Let that be a story. Go help people who've also been through that. Use that pain as power. I got to tell you, pain is tremendous power when you figure out how to use it.
I remember the answer I got. It was a very surreal experience, as it felt like he was talking directly to me. Because he was answering my questions. So I told him, "Thanks, Omar. Thank you. I'm just glad to be alive."
Or I'm very glad to be alive. Thank you, Omar. Dude, I'm happy you're alive, man. I would love for you to come to the event. Love to shake your hand, talk to you, and hear how you turned it around, man. You know what? Film a video about what getting stabbed taught you about life. If that doesn't go viral, I will be blown away.
What getting stabbed taught you about life? I'm sure it will go viral. But even if it doesn't, if you can help out one person, it would be worth it. And I thought, yeah, you're right. I'll do it.
That might be your greatest gift. Think about how many people you could serve if you took action. If you pick up your phone right now, record a video, and just put it online. Even if you look weird, even if it's imperfect, even if your forehead's a little sweaty, what would happen if you took imperfect action and just followed through? Imagine the people you could help. Imagine that one person that you could serve that needed to hear what you had to share. So never in human history have we ever had the time to take action, okay?
As I finished watching that live video, I just thought, man, those are two different signs in just a span of a few days. Maybe there really aren't coincidences, as the lady told me. She said that there are no coincidences in life, but I wasn't sure what to make of it. But these are two signs directly from God. They're just guiding me along. Like, how would anyone else known that I spent the last 4 years learning public speaking, and now I have something to tell you guys? I thought that was amazing. I would have never made a video about the subject if they wouldn't have shown up. As I was fighting for my family, which was now going through tough economic times, thanks to this mugging, which pretty much drained their bank accounts, drained my bank account, I started a GoFundMe page, and I had a lot of support from my friends, from my family. I managed to get around 300 shares to that campaign. Everyone that I knew from high school, from middle school, people I haven't spoken to in months or in years, they started contacting me, and I started getting friend requests from people I hadn't heard of in so long. That's when I learned that we truly aren't alone in any disaster. there are people that will help you. The same people that helped me when I was in the middle of the street as I was freshly mugged and stabbed and took me to the hospital. There's so many people that can help you. Right now, in these times of crisis, they may not be able to help you physically, but just know that they're there and you can contact them at any moment. So that's when I learned that it's okay to be humble. Don't be prideful. If you're going through tough economic times like these, it's not time to be prideful. You can't let your ego get in the way. You have to be humble, you have to open up and let other people in. Maybe right now you have to wear a mask and you can't go outside, but you can still call up a friend, you can still have a video chat with your friends, see how they're going, see how they make it through the day. What's pushing them forward? And it's also very, very important to make sure you have your purpose in check. If you know what your purpose is, it's much easier to get through any disaster possible, because you'll look at these crises as opportunities to tell yourself, what can I do to get myself closer to my purpose? How can I help these people? How can I make myself more disciplined in order to reach this area? What can I do? What will I be telling myself a year from now, 2 years from now, about what I did during that crisis that helped me become what I am today, or to help me accomplish what I've done? Just keep with that image in your head, rolling, and then you'll discover new opportunities to become what you really came to this earth to be. I think that's an idea which is extremely powerful. It doesn't matter if you don't know what your purpose is now. Just look towards a few areas. You can look at what drives you. If you don't know what that is, look at different interests. What's needed in this world? And look at what are your abilities to do those things. And another thing is to be grateful. Even though I was laying on the bed, feeling like a broken sack of potatoes, with potatoes leaking out, not being able to move a muscle because everything hurt, my organs, everything, it just felt horrible. I recognized that at least I was alive. At least I didn't lose a hand or anything. I just had to wait months and months to be able to slowly pick up my life again and slowly regain the muscle I lost and everything. I just was grateful with what I had. My family, my friends, all these people that I found out could actually help, and that I wasn't alone. I was more grateful with God. These are things that at the start of this crisis, I've turned back to in order to make the most of it. Now, I can move anywhere I want inside the house freely. So far, it's been much better than getting mugged and stabbed. So, at least you can move inside your house while you stay home. While you #stay home. We have to push back on fear. Because fear, like that time when I was on the brink of despair, when I was crying, when the whole world was shrinking and becoming dark, and I was in that pit where I wasn't sure if I could take it any longer, I realized that I was focusing on mostly factors which I could not control. I could not control the types of delinquency that was inside that city. I could not control the outside world. I could not control my body at that time because I couldn't move. But I could only work on my mind. I could only work on myself. So if I focused on becoming better, if I focused on doing things that would get me closer to my purpose, then my fear began to shrink. And I became more empowered so I could help people out. So I get closer. That's a challenge that I give to each and every one of you watching this video, to discover your purpose, to empower yourselves in these times of fear and suffering so that you become stronger in the process. Remember that each of you is important. We are all just nodes in a system, in a system where what one person does affects 100, 200, 300 people, and those 300 people affect another exponentially large number, similar to this virus. If one person eats a bat in China and has now infected the entire planet, surely each and every one of us is important. So your attitude and your character through this crisis will help each and every one of us as a whole, as a country, as a planet, to do better. So empower yourselves. Empower everyone around you. Share this to anyone who you think would need this message. I hope this helps that one individual. And if I can help many people, that'd be even better.
When it comes to pain, remember this: your greatest pain is your greatest power. Your greatest pain is your greatest power.